that's not entirely right either. The Americans only really came into war because of the vice president at the time. It was a split cabinet, and we needed one singular deciding vote, and that was the vice president at the time. So America only went to war by one singular vote, and it was technically an executive action. So that's to say we weren't really ready to go to war. Not by consensus, not by will, and really not even by conviction. We were friends, we were trade partners with Germany at the time. The only real reason we went to war is because we had closer and deeper ties with Britain and with France. We were on good standing with Germany, and we really didn't want a part of the war. We were seeing what it was doing to all of these other great powers of the time. It was bringing them to their knees. We saw the French absolutely having their land ravaged by trench warfare. We were seeing the British bleeding themselves dry to contain the Germans and the Austrians. We were seeing the Germans and the Austrians running themselves ragged. The Russians went into a civil war. The Spanish were opting out entirely, and the Ottoman Empire was pretty much going to die because of this war. The Italians were there, but just, if you ever need to know how the war went for the Italians, just look at what happened in World War II. They were so dissatisfied with the war that they went fascist and invented it. Why do I say it like this? The Americans didn't have anything. We had weaponry, but our military really wasn't ready for a war of this size. We had the divisions and the regiments, sure, but we didn't have the scale. We didn't have the modern equipment ready for it. Our guns, our helmets, our uniform style, our grenades. We pretty much just co-opted our buddies. The Canadians did the same. So if you look at a Canadian helmet, an American helmet, or a British helmet, they're all pretty well the same in World War I. It's a real shallow top, about as shallow as the Adrian is, about a quarter shorter than the Stahlhelm. And then where it ends at the bucket, it has the rim. The rim goes out about 2.5 inches, but it only goes down maybe a 1/2 inch at most. And it's got a beat metal rim around it. And there's no decals on the side. There's no ranks on the front like the Europeans were still holding on to. This one was just having the camo on the outside. It's a baked ceramic coating. So the color on it is definitely better and pops out more than the Stahlhelm does. The piece in general is a very familiar look. When you think of your movies and such that take place in World War I, you don't really see too many that focus on the American struggle, because we really didn't hold up the war as much. There was no great invasion. There wasn't really anything moral that the Americans were fighting for. Instead, we normally focus on the German or the British. And this helmet is very much so just the same as you would find in a British uniform. That's not to say that Americans copied everything, but it is to say that it's more of the same. You'll find very similar pieces like this. But despite that, it's still a worn piece. It's got bumps, it's got cracks, it's got the wear of something that saw battle. So while I am kind of reneging on what America did, or how we barely went into the war and how we really weren't ready to fight it, that doesn't mean we didn't. We still did. We still did, in fact, go to war. We still did help our allies. We still did help rebuild a lot of these places. We were still there. This helmet is saying, yes, I'm a little more new than the other guy. Yes, I am better looking. But look, I've still seen service. I'm still war. I'm still good to use. This piece, you want to look up more, just look up an M19 camo helmet from World War II. This is pretty much what it looks like, except a little more war, a little more been in the sunlight. But it's definitely still been loved. It's still seen its share. It's still been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. You can still see where he's held the helmet. You can still see where he's had the helmet. You can still see where the liner was. It's still got the chin strap. It's still got everything you'd want from the helmet. It's still got its code. It's still got everything. You could still wear this. It's a good piece. It's a unique piece. But